Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lego Rebel.
And I'm Vic.
And this is my assistant Vic. And there's also Roger, who is currently manning the camera.
Hi.
Now, in today's video, we are going to show you this custom zombie apocalypse mock. Now, as many of you are aware, this is the final Saturday of October, and therefore the final Saturday before All Hallows Eve, otherwise known as Halloween, as basically every single one of you watching knows. So I knew I had to go big on the Halloween mock for this week. This is one of your smaller mocks. I meant big on the idea. What does that even mean? Just follow me for a second.
Fine.
And I might have had a bit too many ideas. Like I thought about maybe doing a werewolf howling at the moon in the middle of the woods, a ghost in a graveyard, maybe something else involving the boogeyman, a habitat stack that had a bunch of different monsters in each habitat. But then I realized he probably shouldn't be making more than one habitat stack series at once. I'm still working on the Star Wars one. I'm just waiting for a new show to release. And the werewolf one would feel a bit repetitive since I've done forests multiple times. I've already done a graveyard video. Granted, there wasn't a ghost in it, and it wasn't the best quality, I admit, but still, I don't want to feel too repetitive. Granted, I already did that with the forest. And then I thought, what is one thing that is basically universally feared among humankind?
Taxes?
Wood. This is a family-friendly channel, Vic. We can't talk about taxes here.
Why not?
Because they're too horrifying, obviously.
Well, I guess you did have a point.
So then I thought about the second scariest thing known to humankind. Zombies. And I mean, it's extra scary ever since 2020, if you know what I mean. So that's how I came around doing this mock. And also I did have the Night Troopers from the Ahsoka series, the Lego minifigures I mean. So that did help when making the decision to do this kind of mock. And without further ado, we shall show you the actual minifigures. Now the first minifigure group in today's lineup are the zombies. Now, today's minifigure lineup is going to be a bit different. Instead of reviewing them based off the individual figure, I'm going to be reviewing them based off their category, or in this case, their living status. Now, for the red one, I got a scuba diver's legs. The torso, I think, came off of a First Order Stormtrooper. I'm not entirely sure. I just got it from my sister and it was weirdly destroyed for some reason, and I thought it would fit since, well, zombie. And the headpiece comes off of the Night Troopers from Star Wars, specifically based off of the Ahsoka series. And then there is the Karen zombie. Hopefully you can see which one is the Karen zombie. For her, I used some dark blue legs, a Lego City torso, the same headpiece as the other one, and the Karen cut. I'm gonna be honest, I mostly just added the Karen one because I thought it would be funny, and I'm really wanting to use the Karen cut hairpiece in as many videos as possible, or builds as possible, technically. I just think that it's so funny, and also it does make sense since the Karen was probably too busy complaining to the manager to try and escape the hordes of zombies, which is how she got bitten. Overall, I do think I did a pretty good job making the zombies, though I'm not entirely sure why one of them's wearing red armor. And not important. Now the next and final group of minifigures in today's lineup are the survivors. Now for the male one, I got some dark blue legs again. The torso I stole from Vic's closet, and I gave him the cat lover's head and hairpiece from series 27, I think. And for the girl, I gave her some dark brown legs. The torso comes off of a Hoth Luke Skywalker, if I'm not mistaken. And I gave her some brown hair and a Lego City face piece. I'm gonna be honest, I technically stole these headpieces off the vets from my veterinary clinic that I made a while ago, but that's not really important. I just wanted to mention that real quick. And I also decided to give the girl a pew-pew gun because, well, they need to defend themselves from the zombies somehow, And overall, I do think I did a pretty good job making these minifigures. Sorry.
Also, I'm expecting that shirt back after the video's done. Got it?
Yes, I got it, Vic.
Good.
And now onto the actual build. Now for this build, I knew I wanted to make the building and the terrain look very rugged. And I also knew I wanted to use some dark tan masonry bricks that were in a Marvel Iron Man battle pack thingy that I got a while ago, mostly because I didn't really have any other use for the set. So that meant I also had to use tan bricks, which are basically my mortal enemy at this point other than gray, since like 80% of the habitat stack is made up of tan bricks. But enough about the habitat stack. I'm getting off track again. I also decided to use a similar technique that I used in the Boogeyman Bridge video for adding the vines onto the MOC. Hold on. There we go. I moved the zombie Karen so you could clearly see, or more clearly see, the vines that I added. I basically just stuck them in the gaps between the boarded up doorway and window, and I think I got a pretty decent vine-ish effect. And I also added a sprig of grass on the ground to make it kind of look like there was some plants seeping up through the cracks in the sidewalk. Not sure if that really gets that look, but still I wanted to add that. This is what this side of the build looks like. I decided to use a couple different slope pieces as well as a snot brick to add a leaf piece to make it look like there were vines growing on the side of the building. Why I didn't use a regular vine was because it didn't quite have the exact look I was going for. And here is what the back of the build looks like, where I decided to put the survivors. And also another bit of plant life, but that's not really important. I decided to have the girl pointing her pew-pew gun through one of the cracks in the building at, well, I guess technically the zombie Karen, since she was the one standing out there. And I have the guy climbing up the ladder onto the second floor, or the 9 studs left of it. And I'm having him do that because, well, he needs the high ground. Basically, if you have the high ground in any fight, you're 100% going to win if Revenge of the Sith taught me anything. And here's what the other side of the build look. Wait, hold on, that piece is crooked, let me just. And there we go. I just decided to fix it since it probably would have been bothering me for the rest of the video. Anyway, now there admittedly isn't really much to say about this side other than it's definitely seen better days. And also you can get a different perspective of the vines that I have on the build. And this is a top side view of the MOC. Sorry for the shaking camera. Again, for like the 1000th time, my hands are not the best at saying still. Anyway, now admittedly there isn't really much to say about the top side view of the build, other than it does give another angle of viewage of the sidewalk, or how I used various different pieces to make it look all cracked up. And there's also the satellite that I designed that I am way too proud of. It literally uses only 5 pieces, those being a clip, a dish, an arrow, a silver hubcap on the back, and I'm not entirely sure what the piece is called, but it's sort of like a hula hoop piece that has a thing on the end that you can attach a clip to. And hopefully you can see how I put it all together. And overall, I really am happy with how I was able to create this build. Well, that's the build.
Please consider to like and subscribe.
Let us know what your greatest fear is down in the comments section below. And until next time, peace out.